Hi, so I'm going to show you how to quickly build a level design document inside of Word. You can also do this inside of Google Docs or a few other programs. I'm just going to show you Word because it's fairly accessible. We're going to create a new document. Just a blank document. We're going to copy over those headings, the level design document headings that we talked about in class. They're also inside of your notes. So I'm going to copy those out of your notes because I don't like typing again. And I'm going to paste them. I'm going to paste them not with any of the formatting associated with it. I'm just going to keep the text because I'm going to add the formatting from Word. We're going to use these heading styles up top here. So automatically by assigning these headings, the style heading 1, it's going to turn these guys not just with some cool looking fonts, but also there's some metadata in there. If we open up the navigation pane, you can see how it populates these headings inside the navigation panes. You can see my mouse moving up and down. We can make that a little bit more evident by making each one of these headings the top of a page, and that's really important. So if you're flipping through the document, the headings kind of pop out. It's a heading, it's what's important, it sits at the top of the page. So I'm just going to use Control Enter, which is a page return at the beginning of each one of these headings. So Control Enter, Control Enter, Control Enter, Control Enter, Control Enter, and the last one, right? And now as I go through this navigation pane, you can see how it's jumping in the document to the heading for each one of these guys. It's making the document more functional. We can continue the functionality of this document by adding a table of contents, and because I'm using styles, we can automatically generate a table of content. You can do that by going to Reference, Table of Contents, pick any one of these guys, and automatically that table of contents pops up. By holding down Control, these are all links, so the same way that this navigation pane is there, you can also move between items in your document, which makes it really easy. The other thing you want to note is that there are page numbers here. We want to add page numbers to the bottom of our document. So again, that's as easy as going Insert, Page Numbers, to the bottom of the page. The one that I like is actually, I like bold one. Here it is, bold numbers. The reason for that actually is not because it's bold, but I like seeing that it's page 1 of something. So I kind of know how big the document is. I know where I am. I know if there's missing documents, for example. We close that out. That's part of the footer now. So we're almost there. From here, basically, you can now add subheadings. So let's say, for example, in our story, right? And you can see even how I'm using this document that it's becoming more useful, is that I'm not scanning through, scrolling through pages and pages of stuff. I'm going to what's important. So we're going to add a section here eventually. You might want to talk about the environment. You might want to talk about a setting. You might want to talk about characters, right? So we can turn each one of these things into a subheading. So up here in styles, we're going to add this as heading 2. You're going to see that it pops up here on the left in our navigation pane, and we can add it back to our table of content by updating the table. So you just click on the actual table of content, hit update table, update the entire thing, and it'll populate that right in there. You can also do that with the stories. So if it's not just our, you can also do that with headings, and it'll update the word. So if it's not just story, it's a story about goblins, whatever it is, right? It'll update it there, it'll update it there automatically, and then you can update the entire table and it'll update it there. These styles, again, you can also apply formatting that you have inside of your document back up to these styles. So for example, let's say I don't like blue, it's offensive to me, I need it all to be red because that's the way that I want it. I can select a piece of that text, I can right click on the heading, and I can update heading 1 to match the selection, and you're going to see as I go through the document now, right, every one of those gets updated. So that's pretty handy if you're offended by, for whatever reason, the font usage that it has. Last thing that we want to note is that, again, because these guys are all now using styles and it has that data associated, we can actually start referencing it. So let's say somewhere in my programmatic requirement, I'm going to, I'm going to add some information here. It's going to talk about the setting. So I'm going to talk about this awesome setting, right? More information. We can do more. Forget my spelling. More information here. I can actually add a link to here. Right click on it. Do a hyperlink. I can go in this document, back up to the story, to the environment or whatever it is that I'm linking to, hit OK, and now in the document, by holding down Control, I can link and it'll send me back there. So you can start nesting information, referencing information inside of your document. As far as reference goes, right, let's say I'm going to grab these one more time, these sort of subheadings. I'm going to paste them down here in reference because I want to start adding some of that as well. And I'm going to paste it without those headings. Let's say I typed it in, right? Let's say I want to start adding some images now, so I'm going to grab some images. Here's a picture of the environment that I'm going to be designing for. I'm going to paste it in there. I'm going to grab this picture of a cool building, and I'm going to add that into settings. paste that there. I'll make it a little bit more manageable. It doesn't have to be so big, right? So let's say I put those guys in there. Oh, that's cool, right? I want to start building up now my reference material. Oh, but I forgot to add the headings. These should all be subheadings. This should be a heading 2. And I'm going to select all these guys, and I'm going to change it to heading 2, right? Because I want that to pop up here. But you're going to notice that something weird happens, right? I actually selected those image by mistake. So when I update that table, you're going to see those images are actually going to make their way into the table of contents as well, right? Which is a mistake. You don't want to do that. You're going to be saying, oh, it's all broken, whatever. It's pretty simple. Just make sure that you're only adding those styles to text. Don't put them on images because the image will make its way up into the table of contents. So again, I'm going to do this as heading 2, right? Just on the text. So I select the text only, heading 2, and so on. And now you can see it's building it properly here. When I go back to the table of contents and I update it, update the table of contents, it just gets the headings inside of there. Okay. Last thing, it's bad form to have your title page as an actual heading. It's a title. So luckily there is a style for title. So I'm going to select this guy. I'm going to turn it into the title. You'll see it gets removed from the table of contents. I can remove it from the actual table itself. And now you get a little bit better formatting, right? So there's your title. Give it a title, right? You know, pool house, whatever it is, right? Pool house on Mars. And we're good to go. Okay, so now you have a structure, and now you can start focusing on the content. Start adding your story, start adding some reference images, start developing your program. Again, and you don't have to worry about the format. This document is now a functional, usable document. The rest is just details, and the details are for you to figure out and for you to populate. Good luck.